right?
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware of that, right? I was not
Well, then why
born
did you just
yesterday.
define it again? I've already quoted you. I still have your quotes on the font board.
And you're aware that I pretty much quoted it almost word for word.
And no, you didn't. You changed it again.
Apparently, you don't understand epistemology then.
Oh, apparently you don't understand how you changed it 3 times now between what you said originally.
No, because, see, the thing is, you can change the wording around and accomplish the exact same thing in epistemology, and it'll mean it.
Oh, okay. So now we're playing by this new rule that you can just make up whatever you want about epistemology, and it basically means epistemology. I'm liking this game. This is fun.
Like it?
Now, allow me to do this for you, okay? Allow me to go so far as to pull up on Google the definition, okay? So you can see how far mine varies, okay? From the definition in which is on Google. Are you... Yep.
You better not go to Wikipedia, though. You said that you've never gone to Wikipedia before.
I haven't gone to Wikipedia. I'm literally on Google. I can take a screenshot of it right now. Epistemology is the theory of knowledge, especially in regards to the methods of putting the scope of epistemology and investigating what the diagnosed justified belief from an opinion. So therefore, it means it's pretty much the exact same thing as what I just said, just in smaller words.
Okay, no, it's not the exact same thing. Let me read your definition again. Epistemology based upon a true belief system, and you just said opinion, by the way, in your latest definition that you quoted from the internet. Therefore, basically, it's based upon a true belief in with the correspondence of faith. Nowhere in there did you mention opinion. So are you sure that you know what epistemology means?
Yep, I'm aware.
Your definition that I quoted you with does not match up in any way, shape, form, or manner for the one that you just read. But you want to tell me that you know what epistemology is.
I'm aware of what epistemology is, and I can have a coherent conversation with somebody that studies and is well-versed, if I might add, very, very well-versed in epistemology, named Xbox, which I'm pretty sure you know who he is.
Yeah, Xbox is a known pedophile sympathizer.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I have a recording of him stating that he has no problem with people downloading kiddie porn.
Okay, what's your point?
This guy didn't even define it. They don't even define it right. Epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion. This guy has no fucking idea.
He doesn't have a clue. I know. In fact, he's not. None of the Christians, or what does he call himself, fundamentalist or whatever the fuck. None of the Bible believers have a fucking clue. Which is to their detriment, unfortunately.
It's just as ridiculous as saying that Jim understands science, DNA and RNA, Sydney, information.
Exactly. Where does the information come from, Sydney? Where does the information come from? Fuck. That's crazy stuff, man. Ah, you keep on dropping out and come back. Is it your phone?
Apparently. I just like whenever people are trying to make fun of my thought pattern, and yet they don't have a clue on half of my thought patterns. So it's fine. I'm finding that very disingenuous.
I didn't realize your name was Jim, by the way, but epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief or opinion. This is Google. But epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion. So how is your belief justified?
I think I did use the word justified, in my opinion. I mean, in my...
Epistemology based upon a true belief system, therefore, basically, it's based upon a true belief in with the correspondence of faith. That would mean, in a nutshell,
I said that in a
believe
nutshell.
something in a full extent that I would have to have faith to believe a belief was true. Makes no sense to me again, but I just read your direct quote for the fifth time.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the one you just got done off of Google was very similar to what I stated.
It's not similar at all. The one from Google says epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion.
Mm-hmm. Justified belief. Now, what did mine say?
You said true belief, not justified.
True belief, justified belief. The only main difference between true belief and justified belief.
Nowhere in epistemology do they mix justified belief and opinion, or do they also say that justified belief is supported by faith? Nowhere in there does it say that.
Apparently, you don't know epistemology.
Where are you getting this faith bullshit from?
Apparently, you don't study epistemology that much.
Apparently, you don't study epistemology at all.
Apparently, you just don't know epistemology that much.
You've just said that epistemology incorporates faith.
It does.
It does not. Why are you trying to pervert philosophical terminology and scientific terminology to serve your own self-righteous fucking views on things?
I'm not. That's what it is.
This is so redundant with you fundamentalist retards. You want to take actual science, actual scientific definitions, and you want to pervert them and make them definitions that suit your own beliefs. When they don't, none of them do.
No, that's not what I'm doing at all.
Exactly what you're doing. You've just done it. So now you're a liar as well.
No. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but no.
I don't believe whatever I want. I abide by facts, and what I just said is a fact.
Well, the only way you can prove something is a fact is by having justifiable knowledge, which in that case, you couldn't actually provide.
Yeah, we need to give Jimbo a call and see if he can't stop by. This guy
added him.
This guy is so stupid. Like, he doesn't even. I've caught him on. He just lied.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's the par for the course for theists.
Let's see if Jimbo answers.
Well, it's 12:30, I guess, in Kentucky, Mississippi, wherever the hell he lives.
Yeah, he should be up.
Why, howdy. You've reached the...
Oh, Jim.
Number you dialed is not in service.
Who was that? So you think Admin's going to come back? Or is he beaten down and heading to the alcohol bottle? So what is the reason for taking the topic, like the Bible and God and blah 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 blah, and then saying and then turning it around and bringing in a word called epistemology. How does that continue? What's the continuum there? I don't get it.
The continuum is called non sequitur, and it's one of their tactics. Thomas is gonna be pissed if I woke him up.
Hi, this is Tom.
Okay, yeah, he must be sleeping already.
For sure.
It's his tactic again and again of just non sequiturs, basically.
Yeah.
And this is what I did not like about Nadia. Nadia would let them go on and on about nothing.
What happened to Nadia? She's not around anymore. She's still alive?
Her channel is still up. I thought somebody else was hosting the channel, but she still comes in there.
Oh, I haven't seen anything. I haven't even heard anyone talk about, I've just come from Nadia's hangout or whatever. They used to say that all the time.
They've gotten super secretive.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's handy.
Here, let me see what's going on here. Okay, let me see her latest video. There's one from 3 months ago, but that was about the time when they made a transition to somebody else.
No, she's with Debate Coliseum. Debate Coliseum, I think it's called.
Okay, so let me pull it up as well. Okay, let me see. I mean, yeah, she needs to get back to work and do her 24/7 hangouts, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know what? Also, we got to take care of not just the fundies, but the the fundy sympathizers like Steve McRae. We gotta put an end to this. Steve McRae needs to be held accountable as well. Would you not agree?
Oh, Steve McRae is one dumb fuck when it comes to atheism and talking about what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, and the latest video was from...
I'm going to go... I just went on record calling Steve McRae a dumb fuck for his views on the creator and the God thing, because on the one hand, anybody who comes in to say that they're a theist of one ilk or another, he totally bashes them. But when I say to Steve McRae that he's an atheist, he says he's not an atheist. So McRae is a moron. There you go. Well done, Michael. Atta boy.
Okay, sorry. Welcome. Yo, Hillbilly, what's up, sir?
Hey, buddy.
Not much.
Yo, Jimbo, are you dialed in right now, or are you actually in the room on your Wi-Fi stuff?
I am. Don't know which one I'm on. I'm on the phone.
Okay, yeah. So you're talking through the phone.
Yes. No, they can see it.
Yo, tell them. We got echo. Tell the missus.
Where's the echo come from?
That Sydney.
That's probably coming from
say
me,
hello.
not on the headphone.
Ah, well then I better mute.
Yeah, tell the missus that Sydney and I say hello.
Sydney and Gigi say hello. Hey guys. She says hello.
Hi,
Right back
Robin.
at- They're saying hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
She said hi right back at you.
Did you say hi, honey?
She said hi.
We're gonna buy you a copy of 50 Shades of Grey for Christmas.
She said no, thank you.
Okay, Jimbo, can you get a headset?
No, I'm getting ready to go to bed, actually. I just saw you all were on, and I just thought I'd say goodnight, actually.
Okay, before you go, can you define the term epistemology and why or why not it's relevant in regards to religion?
Epistemology. No, not without looking it up. I can't define it.
Okay,
So it's not
question.
important.
Yeah, it's not important. Would you agree that term has no importance at all to your Bible and your religion?
Epistemology. I wouldn't be able to tell you that
Exactly.
without looking it up.
No, I agree with you. It's not important. Like Down says, it's a non sequitur.
Yeah, Hillbilly. What we're seeing on Google is a lot of these fundamentalists or wannabe fundamentalists come on here, and they bring up these like philosophical terms, and they're like, well, philosophy justifies my beliefs.
Well, it depends on what your philosophy is. I mean, if your philosophy is that you have to go to a certain church and you have to believe that a certain particular pastor preaches a specific way, and you don't go this particular particular place, then you got a problem. But if your philosophy is that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, well, that's the truth. And so if your epistemology is the truth, well, then that is the way to go. Yes, dear. And if that's your epistemology, then that's the way it has to be. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the word means, me being as tired as I am. I couldn't tell you.
You actually use that word better than the guy who claims that he's an expert in it, and he never defined it.
See, that's what I was saying too. So again, I don't know. Again, I'm right now, being tired as I am, we've been talking about the debate all night long, so epistemology is not at the top of my list, remembering what the hell it is.
It's not important.
Again, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about a truth,
Stop it.
if you're talking about something that is an important basic fact of salvation, well then yeah, it's really important. If you're talking about something that's just a fluff, like the color of a carpet or the way you sing at a worship service, well then no, it's not important.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you get back to bed then. Nice talking to you.
All right, well, the missus wants to look it up. Hang on just a second. Epistemology. I don't know. Why don't you just say it to Google? It'll look it up for you.
Well, Michael, who might be coming in, will be able to wrap it up.
Epistemology.
E-P-I-S-T.
This is why God gave us women, to do our bidding. Submit, woman.
No nookie for you tonight, Christian hillbilly. None.
Validity.
Epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief.
Well, epistemology, in that sense, is a knowledge base. If it's a theory of knowledge, it depends on what you're talking about. See, there you go. If it's a theory of knowledge, so unless you can prove your theory of knowledge, you really don't have a pot to piss in.
Exactly. Thank you. You've come full circle.
Nice.
Thank you very much. I'm here till Thursday. Y'all have a good evening.
Later.
Thanks for
God
coming
bless.
Elvis bless you.
Now I want to get back.
Sydney, you're muted. Michael, welcome back.
But I didn't know I left. How's it going, guys?
Good.
I noticed on the outside screen, it's like it looks like a bunch of icons in the room. It's like a smaller screen. How did you guys make that happen?
I'm using an encoder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I set up this encoder to stream, but I haven't ran a Hangout yet, so I don't know all the.
What you got to do is you got to start a Hangout in a whole different window and include that Hangout window as just another window in the encoder on the encoder main screen. So if you let me show you what I mean. You see the Hangout window, right? And you see how I'm moving it around? You can do that.
Yeah, by the way, this is an update on Nadia if you wanted to know.
Oh, what's happening with Nadia?
This is from September 25th, so I assume that she's still in the hospital. You folks can contribute to her on Fundraiser, Patreon, PayPal, her Amazon gift registry, and that's my stuff. She is needing...
Oh, we don't give a fuck what she needs.
Well, hold on. She is needing a Hamilton Beach Power Elite multifunctional blender glass jar, a stainless steel vacuum insulated flask, fucking flask, women's boldness winter boot. You know, because it's going to be snowing up there in New York, obviously. So sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't know if I had anything to add. I didn't know she was even in the hospital. I didn't know what her update was, so I was like, oh, that's kind of...
She's always in the hospital. It's not like she goes to the hospital like every month.
Oh.
I personally I don't feel sorry for her one little bit.
Her situation, man, and the hospital can help her out. You know, it can put her up for a few days each month and get all that Diet Coke out of her system, and give her some shit, keep her off the cigarettes, kind of recoup her,
yes, that's gonna happen
on the street.
Some Diet Coke and chocolate Cheerios.
Yeah, and she's so overly self-conscious about the idea of how she's being biased. You know, the society's being biased against her, and I think that's a little. I think she's pushing. I think she's over pushing.
She's self-destructive. There's nothing you can do about it. But getting back to Steve McRae, I tell you what I have a big beef with him about is he believes that John Smith is an actual prophet, the Mormon guy. He's an actual prophet, when in actual fact, he's a charlatan.
Well, I'm in Utah, and I'm around a lot of Mormons. And when I met Steve McRae many months ago, we had a dialogue about his Mormon history.
Uh-huh.
And he said that I think he said he was a convert. Said that we were talking a little bit about theism and just kind of waxing over it. And he said, I have an affinity for Mormonism. So we were talking about, you have kids, you had a good education, you got a good job. I said, yeah. And I said, it's different than the Protestant religious folk that kind of, there's no ideology to getting a good secular education, right? Because they're against the secular, where the Mormons say, get into the secular, learn all of it. And so Steve took advantage of that, and good for him. And so he says, I have an affinity for it, but he never like spot on, like claimed that he still was, because they have a certain fundamental base, kind of like Islam, where if you move too far out, oh, well, they have a phrase for it, like you're not oh God, how do the Catholics put it? You're uncommunicated, discommunicated, excommunicated. Thank you. And so, but in Mormonism, it's excommunication is not like a permanent thing. It just means you're not within the commune. You're not doing it.
You get shunned, and nobody talks to you.
Right. So he kind of takes his stepping away from the practice as kind of like being peripherally away from the center of where his theism does lie. Because if you think, well, whether or not it believes in a God or he just believes in this prophet, like you can have an atheist prophet that's still promoting a God. I think.
Maybe, but we're talking John Smith, the charlatan, and I said to him once, I said to him that John Smith was just a charlatan and a liar, and he just made it all up, just like all the other Bible books, and he said, "Oh, well, I'm not so sure about that." So, to me, that points towards Steve McRae accepting John Smith, I think that's his name.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith, as some kind of a divine prophet from God, and I have a problem with that.
Well, I tried to shuffle it together, because I was so focused on it being raised here, in Salt Lake, that somebody gave him a text in order to translate as such, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of not that he was. It could be processed that way. Is all I'm trying to introduce. That Joseph Smith could have gotten a text and not made it up, in other words, but plagiarized it, reformatted it. Just a thought.
Yeah. Well, if I've listened to quite a couple of ex-Mormons. There's one in particular who has a podcast about debunking Mormonism, and he has really done some research. He brings out all these court cases and the what do they call it? The transcriptions and everything from all the witnesses, and he unabashedly points out the contradictions and the nonsense and the lies and the duplicitousness of Joseph Smith and his family.
Yeah, meaning I listen to everything that they say about him within the canon, and then everything extensive that discredits him and puts him in the charlatan camp. Meaning I've heard so much of it. I don't even focus. I don't even allow the discussion to really embed in me anymore. Like I don't want to catch up on it because I was so steeped in it for so long. But I'm hearing it. Meaning the internet's bound to have some Mormon debunkers out there. Hell, my channel's got some stuff going on in the beginning. And I came up with my own religion early on. My Das Pook channel is kind of a stem of trying to be prophetic. But that says nothing of my own spiritualism, which is different than Steve's. But nevertheless, when I saw the atheist thing on the outside, I was like, hey, well, I might go in here and say what I got to say. But I called Steve a moron because he was arguing against Commando.
Against
right?
what?
But it wasn't that I was. Wait, you know who Aryan Commando is, right?
No.
Oh, then it doesn't matter. Well, he's kind of a super spiritualist. He doesn't really ground his philosophy to a lot of stuff. He might even be a flat earth guy. But then Steve was really hammering him to a wall, and I was like, Steve, you're a moron, because in my head I was thinking you're slamming this guy, and yet you're saying you have an affinity for Mormonism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're kind of rooted roughly in the same domain. And but I don't know. I didn't go into detail. I just called him that. And then later on I retracted it because I'm like, well, Steve's not a moron. I mean, he's a dad. He's got so much data that I couldn't put him in the moron category. Just anyway, there I am. How you doing? Meaning there's my spiel.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say he's a, well, if you want to, moron is relative, I guess. But if somebody's claiming that Joseph Smith is a real prophet, then that's pretty moronic.
Well, and I think that there's kind of a bifurcation because Mormons move into secular things, but they still retain their spiritual sentiments as far as who's a prophet. There is a kind of a fundamental claim like that. Same thing with Muhammad or any other person that's dead in the past that's claiming some sort of special knowledge. I think that's a little bit problematic, but I'm not dissimilar to that in my own claims. But nevertheless, I think it's the people that think Joseph Smith is a prophet, regardless of the evidence, is because there's a propensity in Mormonism to, like, he'll double down. So if you attack them, they'll take in all the criticism, and then they'll still, kind of like their Mormons came to, their ancients came to Americas, and there was white people and fights and wars and all this stuff that has very little notion of any archaeological evidence. Because of all that,
Right.
They have this propensity to say, well, it's just not covered yet. It's not uncovered yet. Like I know you have all these criticism, all this evidence, but it's just not revealed to you yet, or revealed to humanity yet, how exactly Joseph Smith is a prophet. Well, maybe he's a prophet because he plagiarized someone else's book and made himself aggrandized himself. Anyway, there I am.
No, he didn't plagiarize. Well, I mean, if you read the Book of Mormon, it's just a bunch of rambling tripe.
Well, I did. I mean, I'm kind of tripe. I'm kind of rambly tripe. But I don't think it's because of.
Well, maybe you are, but maybe we all are. But no one's tithing to you, and no one's tithing to me.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm a little confused here, Michael. Do you believe the Book of Mormon has any validity whatsoever?
Yeah, I think all texts have validity.
How does the Book of Mormon have any validity whatsoever?
It's moving of emotions. I mean, it's valid because, like a good novel, it can encapsulate and direct interest and emotions within
Right, but that's still fiction, and a good novel is good fiction.
But
unfortunately, the Book of Mormon is bad fiction.
But as far as validity, like valid is a truth question. See, I have trouble with the idea of questing for truth, claims of truth. So I kind of smear it from the back end, right down to the foundationalism in my outlook of things. So when someone presents the idea of valid, to me, valid is like Jenga is valid, right? If you can get the stand where you can make a game out of Jenga, it's valid, right? It's got some some structure that's an issue, therefore it's valid, right? If, in the grander scheme of things, meaning is Mormonism the case? Well, I wouldn't say that too many things are the case, or I wouldn't claim.
Speaking of the case, so this is a strategy that's been used again and again, and it's still being used by theists, the whole epistemology thing. And so this was the definition of epistemology that I got from admin for the teacher. Epistemology based upon a true belief system. Therefore, basically, it's based upon a true belief. Stop fucking typing. A true belief in with a correspondence of faith. That would mean in a nutshell that I can't believe something stop fucking typing, in a fullest extent that I would have to have faith to believe a belief was true. Does that make any sense to you at all?
No.
I'm asking Michael.
Well, I got through part of that, and then my mind went somewhere else because I was like,
yeah, well, there you go. Read it for yourself. This is a definition of epistemology according to admin for the teacher, and I quoted him directly.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in epistemology
defined it that way, but.
Nowhere in epistemology is faith a part of that. Nowhere.
Oh, so you're saying that you're because I see that part that says a true belief in with a correspondence of faith. So you're quoting somebody. You're not cutting out a dictionary definition of epistemology there.
This is a direct quote from admin the teacher.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but is he some professor or something?
No, he's he calls himself a fundamentalist based on the New and Old Testaments.
Oh, well, no. For me, epistemology in philosophical terms is it's the method employed in how to reduce or come to conclusions of agreement or truth that we call knowledge. And when I was in the outside check, I said, well, epistemic is to have epistemic as opposed to epistemology. It's a realm of knowledge considerations is how I look at it. So one isn't so much the study of, but it is kind of the study of and the reduction of an epistemic realm, if you will. That could be divvied up differently than.
And this is a problem. This is a problem we're having, though. That the point that I'm making here is that we have theists that are running around taking scientific terminology, and Steve McCrae's one way, taking scientific terminology, philosophical terminology that they have absolutely no understanding of, and they're trying to poison these terms as anchors of validity for their religious predilections.
Yeah, I mean, the whole business, they're a true belief, right? Already, epistemology, it's an examining beliefs and truths. It's not a true belief that's in correspondence with faith, meaning that's like someone that believes that there is a Platonic form that we all sort of adhere to, like, oh, I have faith in the Platonic form, and so my saying the word Platonic form corresponds to this invisible pyramid that we all call a pyramid, right? And I'm like, okay. So that's what I get out of what you quoted there. But I hear that as a problem. So you guys, as atheist secularists, you guys are, what's your response to it? I mean, how do you throw back against those claims?
Well, they make claims without backing them up. We don't have to.
Well, I throw back against the claims by simply stating, number one, you're trying to hijack a term to suit your whole religious motives, and number two, you don't even know you don't even know what the term actually means, and that's always my response. And number three, you're creating a minefield of non sequiturs.
Okay. Huh. Well, yeah, I get the rewriting it. That's I think a lot of people, especially in the chat rooms, they get to throw in caveats whenever they want. They get to add little special definitions and then try to employ the remainder of a follow-up argument associated with their grounded definition. Right. I think this is just another case of that. I don't know how Steve was doing it, but okay, so that's how you push back. That's interesting.
Well, I push back by pointing out just how ridiculous what they're stating is.
Every sentence that comes out of a theist's mouth is absolute tripe. And there's nothing that they can say to change my mind, because there's nothing, they have nothing to put on the table. Nothing.
Well, it's weird. I was converted to theism, but not through any Abrahamic texts. Mm-hmm. Mine was, I think, a case of a series of I'll just say supernatural or unexplainable, and in one case, cooperative experience that then had me rethinking my constituted notion of how the universe is possibly put together. And so it put me in, so therefore I fall into the tripe category. In that I'm a theist, but basically, my thought, I was trying to describe it as outbound induction, and someone like, well, what do you mean outbound induction? And I said, well, it's kind of like seeing like a bird fly, and then well up in the stratosphere you see a plane also flying, and that in your mind you're able to draw like a z-axis out to the cosmos, right? And then so my thought was that if anybody experienced something that they themselves would categorize as supernatural, meaning that they didn't find a workaround, they didn't find anything that their knowledge set could currently ground as natural, right? In regular physics or regular knowledge sets of what's possible in technology and so forth, if they themselves claim that they see something supernatural and then see something again later on that they would also claim it was supernatural, that would be like the bird and the plane. Then you'd be working on a trend line that could point to, meaning at that point, as soon as you have two events or more, then you can start to make a speculative notion about induction based on that. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that.
So you're a theist?
I feel subject or. I mean, in a way, yeah, it's like a solipsism. I mean, I grant theism, meaning because I grant a greater otherly intelligence to everything that's put around us, and I like to consider the idea of us living in a voxel matrix.
How do you rationalize that?
Well, it's based on the things that I'd mentioned, a series of what I would call supernatural or unexplainable witnessings and happenings that I've gone through that put me in the crazy camp, the cray-cay camp with Joseph Smith. To be honest,
yeah, but a lot of theists say that. Now, I'm no different than any other human being, and I don't claim ever to have had some kind of a supernatural personal experience that I can't explain and that can only be God. To me, I don't believe anyone who says that.
Well, I know, and like I would have thought. I mean, I moved into the complete nuts category in society in my own head after these events, but yeah, I mean, 2007. So how many years? Basically, my late 30s, like 36, I think I was at the time, and in 2007, yeah, I got it all mapped out on a time, the dates and everything. But I think it was September 27th in 2007. I'm sitting in the same place that I live now, and I had my girlfriend here, and we were both in the dining area. And well, she was just off the dining area in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, she drops to her knees and looks at me with this mind-blowing eyes, and right there comes this golden basketball-sized yellow orb through my apartment off the ground by about a foot, and it moves over very slowly about 10 feet, and then it pauses, and then it goes through the wall. And I said, she said, you just saw an orb. I said, yeah, I saw the orb. She's like, blah, blah, blah. So we just we're going batshit. Like, what the fuck was that?
So are you saying that there's no possible natural physical explanation for what you saw?
Well, like your claim, hey, I'm a human just like everyone else, right? And so, I mean, and it was like an evening time, so the sun was already going down, and there was internal light. And I mean, I thought of everything like, okay, what I had a ball cap on, I wasn't looking up at a light, so it wasn't like an eye thing. She collapsed. She said she saw it. I said I saw it. I sat there thinking, God, maybe there's radio waves, maybe there's some sort of colliding energy field. Anyway, what made it weirder was not only could I not explain it in physics, But about 20 minutes after that, while we're still going like, well, just going weird, she gets a phone call from her dad saying, hey, your grandpa just died, and I want you to know that. So immediately she associated the orb with her dead grandpa and said, that was my dead grandpa coming to visit me. And I wouldn't allow my mind to go that far, but I mean, I allowed it to go that far, but I didn't allow it to attach and convict to that idea, because all I knew was what I saw, right? And I knew that I wasn't the only one, and I knew that neither one of us, based on our just regular educated notion about how physics worked, that shit, I didn't have an explanation for. I even wrote to physicists about the phenomena to see whether or not there's any feedback. I got no feedback, because everyone obviously thinks I'm a kook. That was the start of my inversion into theism, or well, I call it theism, but as far as I could grant it, I could also grant it like alien superpowers, right? But as far as I know, I feel subject to whatever it is. Therefore, I have a theology of a greater intelligence, and because of that, I call it a theology because it's not mythology, because it's not mythic. I mean, it's a mythic-like event, but I saw it, like I claim to see, right? Anyway, and so the point, though, is that now I feel subject to something, and it's not just one event, but I have a series of events. That was the first event. Anyway, so yeah, I'm as crazy as fucking Joseph Smith, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the fact that you admit that you're crazy is enough. That's fine. It's okay to be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it led to me going like full bore into crazy modes until basically I swallowed my own mental tail, turned my own sock inside out, went completely batshit. That's why I argue against Bible thumpers, is because their testimony is based on texts and some sort of intuitive notion of coincidence, and mine doesn't separate outside of coincidence, but it's not based in text. And so that's why I criticize them, like, oh, your guys' faith isn't based on something you felt sense. It was based on rubbing your eyes over this series of words. And so that's how I feel different. But yeah, so that's where I am, Sydney. That's why I was like, this should be an interesting room to go into.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you take that that sort of theistic base that you think you have, and measure it against the cosmos as a whole? Why do you think that orb appeared to you and your girlfriend? But, I mean, my grandfather died and my grandmother died and I ain't got no orb. How do you...
I don't, like I said, I didn't necessitate it as some spiritual thing. To me, at first, it was just it was like a pedestrian alien energy. I don't know. I've been painting the orb in different modes for years since it happened, but the thing is yeah, I put it in just kind of a category all its own. I don't necessitate it as a disembodied spirit or soul the way she took it, but I didn't try to like separate her view, of like everything she brought to the event. I wasn't going to try to like whip it out of her head either. So,
are you still with this woman?
No. But I so I was in this room. Do you know who DPR is?
Yeah.
He hasn't. Oh, okay. Because I don't know who's in circles before, but he was in these rooms early on, and he was talking about evidence and atheism and everything. And I said, well, here's my story, and I told the same story I was telling to you guys. And because he says, well, I would want to corroborate it, and so I said, okay, here's. I said, just email me. I'll send you some links.
Whoa, what's all that?
You can ask for yourself, right? Well, I don't know what she's going to say. But she was there, and I would assume that if you could get anything from her, she would tell you the orb story. Sure. But he never did, right? And then I accused him of doing it, and then he said, all you are personal experience arguments. And they're not valid. And I'm like, well, it's corroborative because it's public and it's shared with somebody else. Granted, it's not more than the two of us, but I'm not in cahoots with her. I haven't talked to her in years. Unfortunately, I mean, that was another one of my huge mistakes, was leaving that woman. I thought that was a huge error on my part. But yeah, meaning I offered it up, and he didn't go with it. And then his pushback was, just what I said. That you guys are arguing everything is personal experience, and anyway, so I'm a supernaturalist, and I put myself as subject to greater intelligences. That I'm kind of not in a Von Helton retardation category of speculation as much as I am. I am in the case that I like. I'm not going to say there's reptilians running the world. But now I have a sensation like there's energy and there's stuff that is not known by science, and even that became an argument, because I'm like, well, it was a single. These are singular happenings that are not within a control. So science would have to use mere testimony to apply some sort of methodology to it, but it couldn't test, without a control experiment. You can't test, especially if it's a fleeting instance, then you have no repeatability. So once occurring events that fuck your world up doesn't mean science can get a hold of them. So I feel like the guy that found Bigfoot, if you will. But anyway, that's just me. But see, I'll put back against theists also, and take them to the wall, because I think that extracting their weakness in that their faith's based on text. I'm going to like exude something a little more heartfelt, or a little more, I don't know. I think I'm looking for people that have now I'm fishing for people that claim paranormal experience. Not that I'm fishing for it in this room.
Now that was the only that orb was the only experience you've had, or were there others?
No, there's more, but I mean, I could just link you to a video to it. But well, there's other events that I like. Okay, like I also leapt off a roof towards a star, and I've got broken feet now, right? So this is in 2010 because I leapt off this roof, and but these phenomena in 2010 were not only did I have a peculiar intoxicant in me during the process, not necessarily at the beginning, but throughout, but I saw phenomena that were naturally occurring. They were just very peculiar, naturally occurring phenomena, like a cloud that was shaped like a ladder, and because of that. I was left after the orb. Of course, I had the orb to already fuck with my head, and then this other instance of seeing these basically a ghost head inside of my apartment and a ladder on top of my apartment in the sky led me to this notion that I could leap successfully off of my roof, and not acquiring the ladder. It's a longer story. I should just link you to the video. I've been telling this stuff tangentially for a while, but and then that's not even the last event. Like, I'm an X-Men, right? I'm an X-Men. You guys think everything that's going on in the movies and everything that's not related to reality. But I like the idea that if there's a logically possible world, there might actually be an empirical, identical, logically possible world that our world or my being can mesh through and identify with. But so that was in 2010, that one. But in late 2011, there was my most convincing experience. But I think instead of going into it, I'll just find the link to the story.
Well, could you just sort of summarize it in a sentence or two?
I was symbolically scrambled by every event in my environment to lead me and compel me to drive 7 hours north, close to the Canadian border, where by late at night I saw about a 15-foot long red, it looked like an electronic jellyfish, really elongated. Like the orb, this one is something I could not physically explain. Absolutely petrified me. I realized it was what was calling me up there. The whole thing was one driving event. It was all symbolically driven. I knew where to go because of things on the radio and different signs that showed up on license plates and cars and signs that I would pass, plus whatever was going through my mind and the radio. All of it combined, flattened like an orthographic view. And then it was like I couldn't go wrong, because I ended up going wrong, but it was like a self-correcting thing that led me to where I needed to go to see this thing. So it was very much like Close Encounters, the movie.
Yep.
They don't know how they're drawn up there, just that they're drawn up there. And because of that event, this year, I decided, just for the fuck of it, not that I was drawn up to it, but that I was going to go paint Devil's Tower. So I went and drove up to Devil's Tower and painted it. And
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but I didn't I wasn't like compelled to do it. But yeah, so those are the main events. I say, okay, a cloud and a ghost. The ghost head that I claim came, like, physically I could say that was the result of breaking a light bulb, and it was like powder inside of it that led me to a roof to see a cloud. So those two events in 2010, that was natural, but weird natural. Meaning I had an explanation for them. But the orb in 2007 and the red star, I call it the red star, was are two different, totally different events and different phenomena that I saw that lost it. And shortly thereafter, seeing the star, I tripped out for about another 48 hours and was picked up by police and eventually put into the hospital and then a mental ward. And yeah, so there's some of that going on in my history. That's why I'm a theist. Mm-hmm. Thanks for letting me share.
No, that's good. But I just was wondering why all these things happen to you and maybe others, but for the most part, it doesn't happen to anyone. Like, aren't all humans equal in the mythical god's eyes?
Well, I don't know. I thought that the phrase "the elect," I thought then my intersection with this must, because I went through a psychological mode after that last event that where I assumed everybody I spoke to was actually like in on the Truman Show, like I was in the Truman Show, you know what I mean? And that you guys were all kind of in on it, and that really freaked me out in kind of a weird paranoia before I was like testing, like, oh no, they're denying it and they're not a threat, and then all of a sudden there was like a huge paranoia of threats, and then when I wasn't getting the threat, then I wanted to piss people off to threaten me. So it became extremely obnoxious. Hoping, I was even telling people in the park the other day, because I saw in this park, and I was like, God, it'd just be great if I could get hunted down by zombies. Like if I could get everyone so pissed off at me that they just chased me down on my fucking non-runnable legs and ate me alive, or like, God, it's just not happening. Meaning I couldn't manifest my paranoias that came after these events. And so I've really gotten shaken up as far as how to consider the universe, how to consider other minds, other people. But no, I don't know.
So, okay.
But this is what I mean by I'm as crazy as Joseph Smith.
Okay, well, let me ask you, how do you rate your mortality? Once you're dead, which it's going to happen, are you just going to decompose or get cremated, and that's the end of that?
No, well, I had to deny mortality in a physical sense, and then I moved back into the notion, well, maybe there's a post-mortem sense of immortality, and so I was migrating back to the idea that somehow that if it, like, because after these events happen, I had to reconsider the theology, Mormon, Book of Mormon, and what I've read the Bible, everything that I ever understood about Robert Anton Wilson or Buddhist meditation or any other pagan symbol or anything. I had to take into consideration everything that I could think of. And so anyway, my notion was that somehow I might witness death, but that number one, quit imagining that there was death, and if some of it slipped by, then ouch. And then I thought, well, maybe everybody around me will die, but somehow, like, transhumanism will pick up and solve and save the day close to my death, so physical death would also not occur. And then I migrated to the idea, the traditional idea of like a post-embodiment, a center, a locus of spiritualism. Because when I did see the red star, I mean, the first thing I said was home when I saw it. And then I was really afraid of it. And then I drove right under it. But the thing is I was also weirded. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to put it other than I had the notion for a while that when like, cause there's some Aleister Crowley thing and even like, Katy Perry, like, you're a firework or you're a star, just these phrases, right? And since I called this thing a star, and I was thinking of Aleister Crowley, he talked about like the stars are conscious. And during my experience up there, after seeing this thing, I was considering the stars as conscious. And I thought, yeah, like a star is a disembodied soul that gets its rest somewhere out in the cosmos. And it manifests itself back into a star or an orb or something like that, right? Like I was saying that, but I couldn't, like, that's where I realized after a lot of alone time after these events from about 2011 till late last year, I became incredibly secluded in the universe trying to like figure this shit out, what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
before I got into these communities. So anyway, though, to answer your question, which I'm almost forgetting, but something to the effect as
mortality.
It made me think that like someone that has faith in the Bible in an afterlife, that even though I feel like I'm sensing something that's like even today, like every day, there's practically no day that goes by that I'm not sensing something that I feel is a spiritual happening going on in the sounds in my apartment or synchronous events. But I realize, like, even if I grant something patterning or overtly intelligent that's happening within my actual environment, even if I grant that, that says nothing about me as some sort of post-physical soul, and that's just a notion, right? Because I didn't tie her granddad to the orb, doesn't mean that we don't end at biological death. So I come to that notion also, that perhaps there's none, even though I'm often fed with certain guilt and like notions of sin consideration, and like somehow my life is being altered and influenced moment by moment, even all of my thoughts, right? Anything that I can possibly think, whatever this super intelligence is, knows all of it. And so I'm kind of like St. Tommy. St. Tommy, I'm not dissimilar to him in that he thinks that there's nothing that you can do that this thing can't register and respond to, so to speak, and that you're not really guilty of it. It's just that you're not maximizing yourself if you take on the notion that you actually have free will, as opposed to saying you're deterministically confounded by all outward events in the cosmos, and that we have a locus that we consider to be our center that we call having free will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll throw that back at you. So my answer about immortality is I grant an idea of it. If I try to slide in biblical notions of judgment and right and wrong and sin, guilt, binary patternings, then it becomes something beyond. It becomes considerable to conceive something beyond a bios. But since I'm still an evidentialist, meaning even though I felt possessed, that's my experience. And even though I saw the orb and I saw the star and I saw the things that I saw, I did what I did because of what I was feeling and what I was going through. So in other words, I still don't know. And I've never known myself either coming up out of a dream or living in an embodied state. So because of that, and I know what it's like to not remember, so I think maybe death is a complete blackout, and there's no reoccurrence. But then, DNA reproduction, all the recordings that Google's making, transporter beams and quantum mechanics, and who knows about what reiteration of. I mean, shit. Nietzsche said something like, if I saw a demon that told me I was going to have to relive my exact same life infinitely, again and again and again, infinitely, like that would be a type of hell. That's why he's called a demon, right? But I thought, what would it mean to reincarnate or to start over on the exact same ignorant to knowledge-based trip that one gets on from the beginning of birth till throughout their life? I don't know. Interesting idea. What do you think? What do you think about these ideas? Besides being complete trite.
Well, I mean, I just don't think that. I mean, I'm not saying your experiences aren't your experiences, but just by the mere fact that these experiences are very limited to certain people with certain points of view, makes me a little suspicious, because I got, there's hundreds, thousands of people that I know throughout my life that have never had any of these, never had any of these apparitions or strange things happening around them. I haven't. Down hasn't. I mean, any of the atheists that you have here. Remember when even what's his name, the drunk, Patrick Fester, same thing. He never claimed anything that wasn't rational. So that makes me wonder why only some people have this or claim to have these experiences, and therefore believe accordingly that there's something special about them or something out there that they don't understand, or that's going to take care of them, when they're dead. That's my kicker. I've never experienced it. People have told me what they've experienced, but they've never been able to back it up with anything whatsoever. So, it's tall tales as far as I'm concerned at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and I figured that even if DPR or anyone else did contact my ex and she was polite enough to iterate what I think she would, if she was being honest to her memory, and I think the event was stunning enough to her that she wouldn't deny it. Meaning, if she was willing to put forward the idea to them, that I think whoever read it would still think, oh, it's not a corroborative experience, it's a corroborative story, right? And I was in that same camp. I couldn't, prior to 2007, I could not have believed anyone else's story. And what I realized at one point, and it took a lot of time for me to really digest the fact that I can lay all this down, I can state it, right? But unless, like, there's no reason that anyone has to pick up what I'm laying down, right? But there's no reason in contra that I have to somehow, having the same, what I think, rational knowledge base as anyone else, that I have to give up my own testimony about my own experiences to, like, cater to everyone else's not having an experience to this. But I also, the cool thing about this was that I've had ghost hunters over at my house, different groups of them. I chat with people that claim to have been abducted or seen aliens at their bed, and like there's whole different groups out, and even like HBO's coming out with this or maybe it's not HBO, but it's called People of Earth, that should be coming out, about aliens that abduct people, and then they put them on a table and say, you're special, and then they send them back to Earth. And but I wasn't going on like somehow I'm special, but I realized, like, oh man, like now I'm really, really, really in this small pocket of people that might claim paranormal experience, and so I'm left in that subcategory. But I don't know how to explain why and why it happened with me, and why it doesn't with other people. And I've even tried to investigate, well, maybe it was because I had this, huge hell angle pissing match against the whole Mormon church, and I was an atheist when I was very, very young, before I got into college, and thought, no, I'm more agnostic, and then thought everything was just bullshit, and went my whole year and years and years and years till my mid to late 30s before any of this even kicked in. Right? I have no idea, but I think there's probably still a lot of people that are going to live a life of secular. Their mode of thinking will necessarily be methodological naturalism, because there's no way that, like, if I hear something I don't believe it, period, right? Same thing with you. If I can tell you this and you don't believe it because you have no basis or framework or whatever to grant it.
Nice open-mindedness. I mean, that could work both ways, though, right, Mike?
Hey, Slip.
Good. Well, hi. Hey. Sorry, didn't mean to. My mic wasn't working, so I got all excited and shit.
It's working now.
Yeah, the whole no basis thing. I mean, there's a lot of shit that I believe in that I would not be able to provide a logical basis to, certainly in a view.
Well, you don't need logic. All you need is physics.
What the hell's physics?
Like the natural world, doesn't have to, you know, if something's not logical to you, that doesn't mean to say it's not.
No,
natural.
it becomes logical when if I believe something that I really can't, and then it becomes what I was I'm gonna kind of go with that, and if I test it out 2 or 3 times, I'm not really going to question the physics of it. I don't know the physics of it, or
no, I know exactly, but there is a physical explanation for everything, even though you might think it's like.
I'm sure there is. I just, some of the stuff, that part isn't super important. It's not the where all with all. You know what I mean? It's not going to dislodge, especially if I get a benefit out of it. If it's something that's positive to me, and then this other thing dislodges that, I would have to weigh the 2 things and say, all right, I mean, am I just gonna, have something that doesn't quite make sense on this end, but I really see a positive. I'm probably going to abandon the questionable part.
Well, I'm going to throw this because I saw this, I say, well, it was more like energies, and so I'm like, it's physicalism. It's not materialism proper, but it's more like controlled electrical event or controlled something that like I don't put it outside of its physicalism. I might put it outside, but as far as physics, like you take that Stanford physicist and he'll argue we live in a voxel universe, 3D pixel universe of basically quantum off-on switches. And then you get someone like Elon Musk doing SpaceX, and you'll listen to him and he'll say, I feel like I pretty much believe we are in a matrix, like a digital matrix, that this is just a program, like a simulation.
I've heard this.
All these minds, these heavy minds that are arguing, like, well, how do you argue against a voxel universe that's either saying every Planck space or whatever the most minuscule notion of what a physical data set could exist in is either present as one thing or it's not present, and everything else is a constituent off of that. So I'm thinking, well, then yeah.
I've got dead people on this thing, just so you know.
There you go. That's the floppiest of flops.
I have dead people on this.
Well,
never mind. Keep going. That was awesome.
Well, no, I was just thinking the black hole theory that was put forth most recently. I think it was Susskind, but maybe it was someone else. It was like the black hole isn't a hole; it's a 2-dimensional data collecting set. And then you hold that disc up, when I'm thinking, like, that is like a black hole. It's a 2-dimensional digital recording set of 3D factoids.
When did the Matrix become common knowledge, the movie or whatever?
Yeah, 99.
Okay, now in 1998, did anybody talk about the Matrix, about the whatever, we're some kind of a
simulation,
software simulation? Anybody?
Maybe in a movie somewhere. I don't.
But no, in the mainstream, amongst people. Nobody ever spoke about that.
A simulated universe prior to then. Like, we might live in a simulated universe.
Okay. Right. But no one spoke about it.
How far? But as a metaphor, like when people say, hey, your brain is like a computer. Well, before computers, we didn't have the metaphor computers, so we said, we had a different metaphor for what the brain was. Oh, the brain is like a machine, or it's like a memory collector. Like, we had these different notions of what a brain was. And we had these metaphors. So if your point, Sydney, is to say prior to the Matrix, we didn't have the metaphor of the Matrix, therefore calling it the Matrix might not be appropriate, I understand that too.
I have a primitive brain right here. I don't know if you guys.
What is that?
This is a primitive brain.
A primitive brain that looks. I see the cortex, and I see the. What the?
It's quite
hell is
heavy.
that? What is that?
This is a CRT. This is a cathode ray tube.
Oh, okay.
It's from an X-ray machine, I believe. It's got a center balance and it's got a spinning thing, and obviously it's got
Connectors.
electrical, so you can provide a whip to it. It's got a magnetic coil on the ass end of it, but it's from like a 1920 X-ray machine, I think.
1920. Wow.
It's not radioactive, but yeah, I got it off of eBay.
Why?
I wanted it, dude. I was going to turn it into a lamp, and then I got it, and I'm like, oh fuck, this thing weighs like fucking 60 pounds, and it's got a bunch of shit in the middle. I just wanted the glass. It looked really pretty. They put a bunch of lights on it and shit when they took the pictures of it, so I thought it was cool. And then the shipping came through. It was like $16, and I'm like, oh fuck! I just got ripped off. But I knew I was getting I knew I was getting it, right? So,
Yeah.
But then when it came, I'm like, there's no way to drill through it. I can't do shit with this.
No, you can exactly. It's what's a paperweight now?
No, I made a stand for it.
Great.
Like a fish tank or make a light pole.
It's like a conversation piece, and that's it. There's nothing. Yeah, there's.
And what about that telephone on your left there? That's also another conversation piece.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the. Oh, it doesn't dial any. Oh my! I need to lube the dials. Yeah. Prior to 911. Yeah. Hello? Yeah, I was thinking at some point there's got to be a way to.
What if you pick up that phone and you hear Thomas Edison
Damn.
talking to you?
I'd rather hear Nikolai Tesla.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah. More and more people are actually buying Tesla cars these days.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out a way to go work for them for a while.
Hey, Sydney, as far as let me ask you something. If hypothetically anything that you could imagine that like a big video game or holodeck you could live through, and that the afterworld was really transhumanism, where you had to live through everything you imagine, every horror, every beauty, everything that you could ever imagine. You've got to live through all of it.
Wouldn't do it.
Yo, this whole thing is a hologram. Yo, Slip, what's going on?
Hey, are you even there, bro?
Yeah, I was in my kitchen.
What are you making?
4 poached eggs and a pound of bacon.
Nice.
A pound of bacon? Are you crazy?
He's only going to get a half a pound of meat off it. Fuck.
Yeah, well, yeah, most of it shrinks anyways.
Now you've got me wanting to go to the grocery store right now and buy a pack of bacon.
Oh man, bacon's got to be like $10 a pound up there.
It's like $6 a pound.
Oh,
here,
I have
but
no idea.
You get the
I've bought it maybe twice in my life.
Bacon. Get
I
the
think
slab bacon. And
Yep,
then
slab bacon. Yeah, dude, I bought it on sale.
You can see all the way through, because once they do the stagger, they do the card fucking shuffle, the Vegas shuffle with the fucking bacon. All they show is the meat, and the rest of it, all the shit you can't see, is all fat. It's
That's
all
right.
white.
Pretty much.
It's like 75% fat each strip.
Yeah, horrible. But if you get the square cut bacon that's not cut, you can see all the way through it, and you can kind of choose your fat.
We don't seem to have that. If I look, I've only bought bacon maybe twice in my life, and it's been within the last
Canadian bacon?
2 months or 3 months or something.
Because Canadian bacon isn't bacon. It's
Canadian
round.
bacon, actually,
It's round
Canadian bacon
ham.
is ham, a high quality ham. Let me tell you.
It is. You know what? Eggs Benedict is my fave, and there's nothing better than an English muffin with a thing of bacon, a poached egg, and some hollandaise, and
Yo, Slip, I wanna bring something to your attention that I found funny. So I'm at a hangout like 2 days ago with Colin, and Colin's like, hey, down. You realize that Slip was laughing about you in regards to Graham, don't you? And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm glad Slip was laughing. I hope he laughs more. Like, I don't know why Colin thought that would like hurt me somehow.
I don't even know what he's talking about. I mean,
well, no. The fact is, though, if you were laughing about me and Graham going back and forth, who the fuck cares? I don't know what he's talking about.
Why wouldn't I laugh about that?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Colin's like, yeah, people are laughing about you, laughing at you. I'm like, dude, if they're laughing at me or about
no.
He's a shit disturber. That's all he is.
No. Not like that.
But he was saying it like, dude, he's trying to like get me all bent on
He's
shit.
just trying to fucking be the Menendez brother that he is. He's just trying to cause shit. That's all.
I know, and like all I said to him was, I hope Slip and everybody else laughs as much as possible because on this website you have to fucking laugh, and I hope people are.
Well, yeah,
it's like the last thing I want is for people to take shit so serious like Doug Saylor. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's taking that. I mean, everyone has tried to talk him out of his boycott from the Google. Dude, I mean, you scarred that motherfucker. Like that was the end of him even considering it, and it's crazy to me because we're like, we won't invite anybody in. No one will have the link, And he's dealing with this shit where. Beep, 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 beep. My shit goes off all day long with his Skype calls that you go in there. Dude, you go in there. You can't see who's in there. You go in there, and there's like two retards. And you're like, no. Yeah, no.
No.
The fact of the matter is, I've been sniped multiple times, in my hangouts as well. But the fact remains, I'm gonna come back because this platform is still the best. Skype sucks.
It's fine. Yes, fine. Yeah, he wants to say that one's better. Well, he does not even. He can't even go to the point where he's saying that Skype is better than G+. But he says it's flawed. It's flawed and it's fucked up and blah 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 blah. And here's a guy who had a business account. I mean, there's a lot of things he could do now that he doesn't even know he could do. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I ain't going to fucking Skype. I mean, he's got Mike Holiday over there, though. Good for him.
Oh, Mike! I don't think even Mike goes over there anymore.
I saw a few postings from Mike though. Mike was like, join our Skype community. He was posting stuff on the Google screen. Anyways, the end of the month is getting close. I don't need details, man, but it's someone's stepping in to help out Stephen, right?
I don't know. Are his plans to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he's still set up here. Like I said, man, I'm fine for being a backdrop if he needs help, but he was saying that he has stuff lined up, so I'm hoping somebody takes care of him either way because it would suck if he stuck there for another fucking month.
I can't, Paulie.
No, I have no idea.
Paulie, I can't keep up with what you're saying.
I don't even know what the fuck Paulie's even saying. Sid, are we live or off air?
We're live.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, shut up. This is a YouTube thingamabob?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyways, I'm hoping that Stephen is able to get his finances taken care of where he's currently at and resolve all of his problems. So I hope Mike Owen is still helping him pay the rent. And I'll leave it at that since that was publicly known anyways. I'm not really I'm not spilling the beans on Mike Owen for helping him pay some bills.
No. But he needs to get out of his current sitch. It's not.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, well, he needs to figure out how to get the these bills taken care of because he shouldn't be getting forked over for what he is. You know what I mean? Like that needs to be straightened out. At the very least, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only problem is the person that you care about has to care a little bit more about themselves than you do, And I see a little bit off kilter sometimes.